talk about the third problem from the latest Codeforces round 760, division 3, problem name paint the array. Okay, so the problem statement goes like this, that you're given an array A consisting of n positive integers. You have to choose a positive integer D and paint all the elements into two colors. Okay, all the elements that are divisible by D will be painted red and all the other elements will be painted blue. Fine. So you have the problem statement till now is that you have an array, all positive numbers. You have to take a D. Then you have to paint all the numbers according to D such that if the number is divisible by D, they have to paint it red, or else you have to paint it blue. Now the second paragraph says that the coloring is called beautiful if there are no pair of adjacent elements with the same color in the array. So the adjacent number should not be of the same type, which means that if one is divisible by D, the other should not be divisible by D. And that is the whole problem. Now you have to task is to find out any value of D that is possible. Now AI is very large, as you can see, and so you have to use long. But how to approach this type of problem? You can pause this video, try to think of it all. And it is not must to find out. The first observation is that if I want to find out like numbers that are like not like two numbers should not be divisible by D that are adjacent to each other, or two numbers should not be like that are not divisible by D adjacent to each other. So every number will be in this alternated fashion, that divisible by D, not divisible by D, divisible by D, not divisible by D, and so on. So it is like this. So it means that I have to take all the alternative numbers, they should be divisible by D, and all the other numbers are not divisible by D. So if I want to find out the number that is divisible by D, I have to find out the number that is dividing all the alternative numbers. So just find out the GCD of all the alternative numbers, because GCD will tell you what is the highest common divisor of actually all the numbers. So there can be two possibilities actually. I'll tell you what the two possibilities can be. So let's take the numbers. Let's take the first example only. The first example is, let's say, or let's take this number that is like, okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, the first possibility can be that let's take, or let's find out a D. Like I want such that all the numbers that, like if I choose a D, all the numbers in the even positions are divisible by D. And in this case, all the numbers in the odd position are divisible by D, and all the numbers in the even position are not divisible by D in this case. And in this case, all the numbers in the even position are divisible by D, and all the numbers in the odd position are not divisible by D. So if I want all the numbers at the even position divisible by D, I have to find out the GCD of all the numbers that are at the even position. So these are the two numbers. Find out the GCD, that is 2 actually, 2 and 4. The GCD of that, it is equal to 2. So which means that it is equal to 2, that is 5. Now finding out all the numbers that are not like that are divisible by D at the odd positions, that is this and this. So find out the GCD of all of these numbers. So 1 3 and 5 GCD turns out to be 1. Now the problem is that the problem statement says that if you find out such number, then you just print out. Like finding out GCD is very simple. It is done in login, so you can easily do that, nothing much complicated, and the time constraint will be followed. It is also said that if there is no like particular D that you find out, you have to print 0. Okay, so which means that, okay, one of the candidates for D can be 2, one of the candidates can be D for 1. Like any of these can be possible. So let us take 2 as the first case, or let us take 1. If I take 1, then my thing is that 1 is dividing all the odd positions, that is fine. Now it should not divide all the even positions. Now I can just do an O of n approach, just move over the array and check for all the even positions, check that no number should be such that it is dividing, like it is divisible by the D, that is this, at the even position. If we just go to the first number, 1 divided by 2, that is possible. So this D is actually not possible. I hope you get the point. Now, so this D is not possible. Now taking this D. Now this D is such that all the even numbers are divisible by that. So all odd numbers should not be divisible by that. So I will check for this. It is not dividing. So 1 is not divisible by 2. 3 is not divisible by 2. 5 is not divisible by 2. So it means that 2 is like 2 can be a particular answer. Why? Because 2 is dividing all the even position numbers and not divisible by all the odd divisible numbers. That is fine. Now if let's say I find out a number that is let's say I find out some number that is equal to 4. Let's take, or let's say the number is equal to 1 also here. let's take 1 also here. So this number is actually 1. Let's take it is 1. So this number also turns out to be 1, and this d and this d both are not actually the answer, so the answer will be 0, because if you cannot find out any of the d's that are possible, because these are only the two alternatives, so if both of them are not giving out a correct answer, then the answer will be 0. So that's the whole logic, nothing more complicated part. Okay, let us move on to the solution part. So what you can see here is that what I've done here is key. Okay, so I am finding out the GCD for all the even positions, that is the even position starting from the 0th, skipping by 2 position, and similarly for the odd positions. Now what I'm doing here is that, okay, let us check that if I've taken like this is the odd position wala. Okay, so I find out a D, that is this V2 is that is dividing all the odd position numbers. Now it should not be dividing any even position numbers, so I will be treating over all the even position numbers and check that if I find out any number that is divisible by D at the even position, I will turns out to be false, that I will make it false, that it is not correct. I find out like this D is not possible, so I will break out of this point. Like break out means that this is not possible, so move further. If I find out that this D is possible, then I'll just print out that D and just return at this point, because that D is valid, that is fine. Then check for the next D. If that is also not giving out the answer, then it is break out of that point, or else print out if it is a valid D, or else if both the D's are not valid, then print out 0. That's the whole problem, nothing much complicated. You just have to find out some observations. Diff problems are a little bit easy only. You just have to find out and draw out some examples only. So thank you for watching this video till the end. I will see you next one. Keep coding and bye.